Hey, good afternoon. Today is Thursday, April the 25th, 2024, and the time now is 2:33 p.m. So, I want to talk about TikTok because TikTok is also one of the hardest topic of discussion, the hardest news in the net so far, okay, in current times. And I do believe to an extent the TikTok issue has basically canceled to an extent, okay, the situation in the Middle East or the situation in Ukraine, because everybody right now is talking about TikTok. But TikTok basically is hot in that on Tuesday, the United States Senate passed a bill that basically is forcing TikTok to basically separate from its mother company, ByteDance, okay? A Chinese social media company. So the move is for TikTok to basically be sold, okay? To separate from ByteDance and be purchased or face being banned totally in the United States or in the American space. And the bill basically give TikTok about 9 months to a year, okay? If TikTok's mother company, ByteDance, refused to sell TikTok, in this case, the company, the social media giants, will be banned from the United States or from American app stores completely. So far, there are lots of names out there in terms of companies, okay, the money buckets, and individuals out there that could be putting bids to purchase TikTok. Now, TikTok is a massive company. It is said to cost, okay, or to be valued at about $225 billion. So it is massive. I made a video about 2 months ago, I believe, and I did stress that the move by the United States government and many to basically have TikTok being purchased or be banned completely from American app stores is a move that is driven by ego. Okay, it is also an ego issue. And in this case, China, the mother country of TikTok and ByteDance, the Chinese government has an ego as well. And because of that ego, they will be reluctant to have TikTok be sold to an American company in that its entire algorithm is transferred. China is not going to do that. Perhaps the Chinese government might approve the sale of TikTok in terms of a watered down version without the algorithm. But now let me go back to the whole idea of the ban. What I'm going to do is I am going to read a couple of excerpts from a couple of articles that I gather. Actually, I am going to focus on about three articles, okay? I am looking at a couple of excerpts from the articles, and then I will read my description for this program or for this video, which I believe is relevant to also serve as a conclusion. And this description also does have questions, okay, relevant to TikTok, how it fits in the international sphere. Now, the first article which I'm going to look at, okay, the article is a New York Times article, and the article's title is "Congress Passed a Bill That Could Ban TikTok." Now comes the hard part. In this article, the authors are stressing that passing the bill is not enough. There are lots of hurdles that the bill has to jump, because not only that TikTok itself is promising to fight the ban in American courts, okay, in the court, but there are other groups as well. And in the article, it stressed that the ACLU is also examining the possibility of joining the suit in favor of TikTok. And there are statements out there that, to an extent, TikTok ban is an infringement on the First Amendment right, or on the right to freedom of speech. So, to an extent, I do believe that as well. Now, in terms of the article, okay, not only that, many groups out there, okay, whether we are talking about individuals and groups such as ACLU, are promising or examining the likelihood that they could join the lawsuit against the ban on TikTok. There are businesses that are basically reacting to the bill because TikTok, as they say, is part of their business, okay? Their business outreach. And TikTok has done a lot. Whether we are talking about small businesses or individual small business, okay? There are many who use TikTok for their social media content out there. TikTok is used by 170 million Americans, okay? If I can estimate correctly, the United States population right now stands between 332 to 335, 36 million people. That is a massive. America, I think, is the third largest country in the world. I think behind India. So it's China, India, the United States, and I think the next. So of the possible 333 to 335 or 36 million Americans, 170 million Americans use TikTok. That's massive. Basically, we can easily conclude that this makes up about 2/3 of the American population or the American populace. So TikTok is pretty much important. Okay, it is pretty much important to many Americans. This is why I do believe this ban could lead to an embarrassment to the United States government, because many will fight. When the whole idea came about of banning TikTok, there are many who came out there stressing that TikTok is a very important, significant part of their business or businesses, as we are seeing being stressed in this article as well. And there are those who are stressing about TikTok's ban being an infringement on the freedom of speech, the First Amendment right. So I just want to clarify that. Now, in terms of this article, okay, I am going to read the excerpt which I highlight, and I'm going to continue. Congress passed the measures citing national security concern because of TikTok's Chinese ties. Both lawmakers and security experts have said there are risks that the Chinese government could lean on ByteDance for access to sensitive data belonging to its 170 million US users, or to spread propaganda. The law would allow TikTok to continue to operate in the United States if ByteDance sold it within 270 days, or about 9 months, a time frame that the president could extend to a year. So the time frame for the United States, okay, for basically ByteDance, the mother company, to allow the sale of TikTok, the duration, the time frame is 9 months to a year. So this is very much interesting. Experts and lawmakers are saying that ByteDance could allow the Chinese government access to sensitive data belonging to Americans, okay, 170 million American users, or spread propaganda. When you say security or to have access to sensitive data. What are you talking about? Which kind or which type of data are you talking about? Okay, and this is one of those rhetoric or lip services out there when people are speaking big words, nice sentences, but without any evidence. Now, if the statement is stopped at propaganda, it makes sense. Which in this case, it doesn't necessarily mean that the Chinese government is spreading propaganda. What I think the fear is that TikTok is owned by a Chinese company. It is a foreign entity, okay? And in this case, we are talking about a strong foreign entity, a strong government ruling a strong country that can protect itself, okay? If TikTok was owned by a Liberian company, the United States can call the Liberian government right now and say, shut it down. Liberia is a weak country. The Liberian government is weak. And TikTok will be shut down. You cannot do that to China. China will protect TikTok. China will protect ByteDance. But also the Chinese, okay, they are, I think, are one of the leading countries when it comes to technology, okay, when it comes to AI, okay, artificial intelligence, when it comes to the whole social media apparatus, the whole social media platforms or content. In this case, China is an independent country when it comes to information relating to social media. They have their own social media platforms. Unlike other countries in the world that use Facebook, Instagram, and every other social media platforms, which is owned or run by an American company, an American parent company. The Chinese are able to create their own social media platforms, and they've created a lot of sophisticated ones, okay? Whether you are talking about QQ or you're talking about WeChat, which is Facebook, PayPal, Google Pay, and a whole lot of US platform all combined into one. That's how sophisticated WeChat is. So I do not think that it is the security or the access to sensitive data, okay, US citizens' data, and we are talking about 170 million Americans. That is not the concern for the US security apparatus or the US government. I think it's the independence of TikTok and the independence of China, okay? Two foreign entities in one that are powerful that the United States government doesn't control, especially at a time when the US government is making echoes or is making moves to try to go at China, okay? Try to go into war with China. A TikTok that exists in America that is not controlled or banned by the American government is going to be a menace to the American government war effort or information efforts against China. So I think that is the fear. But I'm going to continue. So this is actually the first article. And once again, what I decided to do is not to read the entire article, but just take some excerpts from the articles. So now, the next article is basically talking about the fact that Joe Biden, the president of the United States, okay, did sign the bill that Israel, Ukraine, and Taiwan will receive $95 billion, okay, for their war campaigns, and that the bill will also ban TikTok in the United States should the company's mother country, ByteDance, refuses or fail to sell the company, TikTok, within 90 days to a year. So I am going to continue. The next article, the title is Biden signs Israel Ukraine TikTok bill into law. This article is a CBS article. Once again, the title is Biden signs Israel Ukraine TikTok bill into law. Now, I am going to read okay, the parts of the article that I highlight. It reads, the law earmarks roughly 60 billion in aid for Ukraine, 26 billion for Israel, and 8 billion for security in Taiwan and the Indo-Pacific. It also requires ByteDance to sell TikTok within 9 months or a year if Biden invokes a 90-day extension, or else face a nationwide ban in the US. TikTok has already vowed to fight the measure. This unconstitutional law is a TikTok ban, and we will challenge it in court, the company wrote in a Wednesday statement on X, that's formerly Twitter, following Biden's signing. This ban would devastate 7 million businesses and silence 170 million Americans, the company added in its statement. So that is basically the part of this article which I highlight. And I also look at a CNN article. Okay, I did not highlight the CNN article or the headline. And the headline reads, who could buy TikTok? So in this headline article, it basically emphasized the whole idea of what is mentioned in the bill, which is that TikTok must be sold, okay? ByteDance must sell TikTok to an American company, okay, within 9 months to a year or face a total ban in the US market. From past statements, the Chinese government had basically stressed that it is not going to approve the sale of TikTok. Now, today I went on to CGTN, the Chinese English channel, okay, the Chinese news agency, the English News Network, CGTN, and I was trying to look for article about the TikTok ban, okay, the passage of the bill, okay, the Senate passage of the bill, and I did not find any. What I saw was previous statements, okay, relating to March, the statement made by the Chinese, by a member of the Chinese government that China is not going to approve the sale of TikTok. And then other statements, okay, relating to TikTok in the past months to years. So that's it. One thing I find to be very interesting is that this could bring an embarrassment for the US government. One being that when you have 170 million Americans using TikTok and you are trying to ban the app, you are, for those who are saying that, you are infringing on their First Amendment rights. They get a point. That's a point. But you have businesses, whether we are talking about small businesses or individuals who are doing their individual thing on social media, okay, on TikTok. Many are depending on TikTok for their livelihood or for their extra cash. And we have to be very honest. Either they let TikTok go or one of the American companies, okay, social media giants will have to come up with something spectacular. I know right now, in addition to TikTok, everyone is playing on Instagram because Facebook seems obsolete right now. Facebook is not fun right now. But I don't know where the US government is going with this ban and how they're going to enforce it. So if you are saying that TikTok is going to be banned in the American space, okay, it is going to be banned from American app stores. Does that mean that Americans will not be able to download the app using VPN? Because I do feel like there are ways Americans will get to accessing TikTok or TikTok content. And this could be much more bad for the US in that TikTok, to my belief, the US government could have made TikTok a lot popular than it was prior to this whole shenanigans about the ban of TikTok or the full sale of TikTok. Because it seems like even people who were not always on TikTok are probably on it right now a lot just to prove a point. And I do believe it is going to get to that point where people just want to prove a point. So they are going to embrace TikTok more. But the whole idea of this ban, I am not sure how the US government is going to enforce it at a time where social media, the use of social media, and the getting around internet blockade has become a lot more sophisticated and creative. Okay, so as much as you could ban the app from American app stores, will the government be able to prevent downloading TikTok or getting on TikTok using VPN? Perhaps many Americans, even if they post on TikTok, may not be able to get pay because the ban on TikTok, I do believe, will also include the ban on bank accounts, okay? The ban on banks, in that banks are going to be restricted from having their bank account used for TikTok transactions. So in this case, content creators will not be able to use TikTok, or in this case, they will not be able to get paid. So if content creators are not getting paid, why post on TikTok? Okay, so by banning TikTok, which I do believe will also include restrictions on banks, okay, prohibition on banks or of banks to have their accounts be used in TikTok's transactions. However, the possibility that people could be posting things on TikTok then, not for the sake of getting paid, but just for the radicalization that I believe could emerge as a result of the TikTok ban. And we are talking about radicalization slash conspiracy theories, propaganda, and all that nonsense. And not so much propaganda that, quote unquote, the United States government is saying that the Chinese government or China might spread. But I'm talking about malice and discontent among American users. So that is something that I do believe is relevant that we should all take into consideration. But I am going to end by reading the description for this program, which I do believe will serve as a conclusion. And this description also presents relevant questions that perhaps you may have answers to, or you may help me find the answers to. I just want you to tell me what you think, okay? So I'm going to continue. Questions. Number one, could we begin to see efforts to ban TikTok in various Western countries? Number two, how would this ban impact society in the long run? Number three, how will the ban works, and what mechanism will the US government implement to ensure a successful ban on TikTok? Number four, does the ban stipulation mean that TikTok will no longer conduct business in the United States or access the American social media space? Will citizens no longer have access to the app due to the ban? Number five, has the US government considered that millions of Americans will try to access the app through a VPN due to the platform's popularity? Number six, do the officials realize that TikTok content will still reach US social media space? which will also be an embarrassment for the US and potentially expose an incapability to contain such an entity as TikTok. Number 7, have they considered that this ban could also negatively impact other social media apps and companies, considering that much of the content on social media is TikTok related? At a time when many prominent US social media platforms are becoming obsolete and intense debates on various issues are also overtaking YouTube, it is on TikTok that many American youths go to play due to its bite-sized content. Number 8, does the government consider that due to its ban, in light of the misinformation war and conspiracy theories in American society, TikTok could have become much more popular than before? Now, I am going to end there. Thank you very much for watching The Echoing Voice. Peace.